Alright, this is Charleston, West Virginia. And we're going to go around and check out this amazing dome on the government building. And we're way up in the mountains here, and there looks to be quite a few old world buildings around. So we'll see what we can find. Alright, there's the dome in the background, you can see, and it's
War Memorial.
It's huge. It's got a war memorial, of course. We've got to be reminded of that. This looks like a big old world building to me. I'm not sure which one it is. It's got a big, oh no, I think it is tiled roof. It looked a bit copper, but check out that dome. Look at that. We'll see if we can get a better view. Alright, so we're just here to get a good view at this massive dome. It's all inscribed as well, as far as there's like motifs on the top of the dome there. Big spire up the top.
Look at how tall the steps are. You can see the kids coming down, and look how many steps there are. It's massive.
Come down here, and yeah, there's all these steps at the bottom. So we're not sure how to get close to it, but we'll see what we can do.
We could park here and walk over.
Oh yeah, we could just go for a walk. That sounds like a good idea. Alrighty. Alright, so there's another massive old world building.
Are they connected? I think they're connected on the lower level at least.
One side there, and then in the middle we've got this massive dome. So I think we'll see, but it looks like it's all maybe connected. If not, no doubt there's underground tunnels, and there's a bell down here.
We'll get the tulips.
And then behind us we've got another, what looks like a refacaded old world building. It's got the columns and everything. And lots of tulips. Maybe we'll go into them. Alright, so here's a bell. So we're in West Virginia. Can you read that? A big bell. Big copper bell, and I'll just put that there for you to read. What does it say? Pass and stow? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that would be the company.
Oh, that's who built
Made
it.
in Philadelphia in 1753.
There you go, 1753.
I think that's right.
And gosh, it looks like it's kind of bringing the top bit down. Looks like it's too heavy. Oh, that's why they've put this resting pit underneath it. See how it's all starting to break there. But this Capitol building is huge. And again, check out the dome. This gold painted with blue and motifs all over it. And it's massive. And this Charleston, West Virginia is maybe a couple 100,000 people. It's not a big city. We're up in the hills, up in hillbilly country, John Denver territory. And you can see the bottom story over there is connected to the back building. And then it comes across to this big old world building here. Hang on, let me get this right. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, big old world building, got the columns, got all this, the usual characteristics, and then connected to this main government building. And then on the side here, we've got another building that basically a reflection of it, right? So this is basically one big building going around us. And then at the back we've got that old world building and nothing here. So I'm thinking there was probably another building similar to that one over here. And we have lots of tulips because we're going into spring. So there's lots of tulips over there and over here. And a big fountain, of course. You've got to have a water feature, right? When you're in front of a building like this. So there you go, the Capitol building of Charleston, West Virginia. And of course there's old world street lights everywhere, being repainted, but they're everywhere around here. That old world iron that we see, the black iron everywhere, they're all around this square, and then they go off to the sides as well. So there's just one building missing. It should be there. Apart from that, it looks all intact, like completely surround. But that dome is just ridiculous. I wonder who gets up there and paints it. Must be quite a job. Who knows? Is it an airport? I don't know. Alright, and here we are at the War Memorial. Of course, you're going to have a War Memorial.
Female warrior.
There's a female, female war soldier there. It's obviously for the females, and this is just off to the side of the government buildings. And it looks like it's just a memorial, and they've got all the names inscribed on the inside, no doubt from everyone from West Virginia who died in
all four wars.
In all four wars. So what's that? One, two, Vietnam, and Korea. All right. So they're not career soldiers. That's a bad taste joke. Gosh. The construction of the capital of West Virginia in Charleston took 8 years to complete at a cost of just under $10 million and was designed by architect Cass Gilbert. The state purchased 65 pieces of property to build the capital on, and ground was broken for the construction on January 7, 1924. And the building was constructed in 3 stages, with the wings being built first, both taking about a year, and then they spent about 5 years building the main building and the dome. The Capitol holds 530,000 square feet of floor space, has 333 rooms, and the building encompasses more than 14 acres of floor space. 2/3 of the interior consists of marble. Walls are made of Imperial Danby, and the floors are a combination of white Vermont marble and dark Italian travertine. The rotunda features a chandelier hanging from a 54-foot brass and bronze chain, and it weighs 4,000 pounds, is 8 feet in diameter, and made up of 10,080 pieces of Czechoslovakian crystal. And it is also illuminated by 96 light bulbs. The exterior of the Capitol is made of buff Indiana limestone, and more than 700 train car loads were brought in, and 4,640 tons of steel were used in the construction. The dome atop the Capitol reaches 293 feet into the air and is 5 feet taller than the dome on the United States Capitol building. The dome is covered in copper and gold leaf, and the dome was originally gilded in 1931. In 2005, the dome was restored to match its original design, which included putting an eagle atop of the 25-foot bronze spire that crowns the dome. And the population of Charleston at the moment is only 47,000, about 47,500 people, and it's actually declining. It used to be over 50,000 people, and it's just dipped under 50,000 people a few years ago. And when the Capitol building was constructed in the 20s and 30s, there was between 1.4 and 1.7 million people in the whole state of Virginia, with Charleston having about over 50,000, 55,000 at the time. So not a big population to build such a grand structure, right? Such a grand Capitol building. And this was actually not the first Capitol building in West Virginia. West Virginia actually had a few. It had, the first Capitol was in 1863, and that was in Wheeling. And then it went to Charleston in 1870. This is the first West Virginia Capitol building located in Wheeling, used from 63 to 1870. And as you can see, It's a mud flooded building. We've got windows going into the ground here. It looks very old world and very unstate, an unstate capital building, right? It then moved to Charleston, then back to Wheeling, then back to Charleston in 1885, where they built this. This was the Capitol building in use from 1885 to 1921. It burned to the ground, of course, in 1921. And again, we have an old world building here. And then we went to the present building constructed between 1924 and 1932. And this one was designed by this man, Cass Gilbert. And I was just going through his achievements. And it says here that his works include the Woolworth Building, the United States Supreme Court Building, the state capitals of Minnesota, Arkansas, and of course West Virginia. He also designed the Detroit Public Library, the St. Louis Art Museum, and the Public Library in Detroit. So this guy was pretty busy. And as you'll notice with all these buildings, they are all Tartarian old world buildings. And West Virginia is a very mountainous state. It's basically the whole state is in the Appalachian Mountains, so it's just up and down everywhere. And everything for this capital had to be brought in by railway, by trains. And they say that the train system in West Virginia was built back in the late 1800s. But if you have a look at the countryside, like there's a lot of tunnels they had to put through mountains, and all the tracks would have been, on the sides of mountains. It is not a very easy place to build. There are rivers and some lakes and things that they may have built some of them, but most of the journey in and out would have been up, very hard to engineer railway tracks up the mountains. So that's something to consider, is that, this whole story of trains, is that even realistic, especially when we're talking about going through mountains and all this other kind of stuff. And as we saw, that there's this building is the same as all the Capitol buildings all over the realm that we see in Europe, that we see in Australia, in Asia. They're all the same, yet they're all designed by different architects who apparently all have the same idea. So what do you think? Was this actually built and constructed, in 8 years between 1924 and 32? Or was this building maybe found? What do you think? Leave me a comment below. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next upload.
Remember, in the end, nobody wins unless everybody wins. Come on!